do, 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 do. Bum, bum, bum. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1518, Road Trip Essentials. Whoa, I was trying to think, what can we talk about tonight? And I thought, I'm going on a road trip soon. What are some essential things that you need to take on a road trip? Everybody has their own list. There's basic items that you may want to take with you, but everybody has their own list. So in the comments below, drop in what are some things that you have to take with you, when you go on a road trip. What are some of the things that are some of your essentials that you have to take with you? I have my list. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's go through this list. It's going to be awesome. So number one is the phone. Making sure you have the phone and the chargers with it. The phone I take two with me. You're probably going to go, what? Yeah, I take two with me because I have my personal phone and I have my business phone. So I actually end up taking two with me. One of them I use as the GPS for the maps, but then I don't always have it on either. I just put it on when I know I'm coming up to an area where I'm going to need some navigating through. Like if I know I'm getting close to somewhere and I need to get through some junctions that are coming up, some major intersections and things like that, then that's when I use the GPS. I don't have it on all the time. It just sucks out the battery of the thing. It can overheat the phones, but I just, and I always have a basic idea of where it's going. Plus, the other thing that I do too is I always print out, I go on to Google Maps, I put in the address, and I print out the instructions. So that way, if I am driving, I can, when I'm in a rest area and stuff, I can have a look and see when I'm coming up to those places when I need to have the GPS on to get me through different junctions that are coming up and things like that. So I always have the address programmed into the phones, and I also have the printed version of it out as well. Oops, hang on. Go on the top. Just right there, Zeffy. Zeffy's about to throw up, sorry. Just on the tail, Zeff. Not sure what's going on with her digestive system lately, but might have to go for another trip to the vet, which she won't like. No, out there, on the tail. Right there, Zeffy. Hang on one moment. Zeffy, come here. Right here. Where are you going? Not on the rug, just on the floor. Right here. Good girl. Right there. Good girl. Good girl, Zeph. Good girl. Good girl. You didn't even throw up anything. Okay. That's my apologies for that. Yes, my apologies for that. I will clean that up. That's the advantage of having tile flooring with a dog. Where were we? You okay? She'll probably throw up again on the same spot. I just didn't want her running onto the rugs to do that because that would require emergency attention. Good girl. You okay? Good girl. All right. Where were we? Okay, navigation. So I apologize for the interruption. Real life happening right here. Navigation. Snacks and drinks. I always make sure that I have protein shakes with me. I have high protein snacks with me, fresh fruits as well. One of the other things that I have is I have a cooler that actually plugs in to the car and can actually either freeze or refrigerate, depending which setting I put it on. So I fill that because it works best when it's filled with snacks, water, fruit, protein bars, just things that I can eat along the way, even like baby carrots, cherry tomatoes, just things that I can snack on along the way, or I can sit at a rest area and I can make up a lunch out of it. I may even put a salad in there with some cold meats and things like that. So, and this thing has quite a lot of space in it, and it just runs in the trunk of the car, plugged in, and it runs beautifully. And like before I leave for the road trip, the night before, I will bring it inside because it has an AC adapter as well as the cigarette lighter adapter. I bring it inside, I plug it in the night before so that when I take the stuff out of the refrigerator to put in there the next morning to pack it up before we go, everything is cold. It's already cold. It's ready for whatever's coming in there. Everything goes in there. There's no loss in temperature on anything. I just take it out of the car and plug it in, switch the adapter over and plug it in. And it is, I will tell you, this thing was, it was like $160, $180. I got it on sale, whatever it was. And it has been worth its weight in gold. When I go and when I fill it up the night before I leave, I either fill it the night before I leave, but I always plug it in at least 12 hours before. Not that you need to, at least 12, plug it in overnight. Plug it in before I go to bed. So the next morning when I get up, I just take the stuff out of the fridge, put it in there, and I'm good to go. And it's got carry handles on the side of it, so it's easier to carry and that sort of thing. But it is worth its weight in gold. So that's where all my snacks go, all my drinks go. And I'm always on the lookout for rest areas. When I drive, I'm always looking for rest areas so I've got somewhere to pull over. And at that point, I will refresh my water bottle, maybe have a protein shake or a snack, and before I get back on the road again. So, and sometimes I'll just bring the snacks up there with me, take a couple of snacks out, have them on the seat next to me, and or in the cup holder, the one that I'm not using for my water bottle. Actually, what annoys me about my car is that this water bottle, which I absolutely love because it's flip top and it has a little air hole right here. So when I'm drinking, I can just drink, and as long as this air hole's not blocked, I can keep drinking it. Whereas if I have my other water bottle, which is a metal water bottle, it just has the mouthpiece on it. You still have to let the air in through the side. This one I can drink, and I don't have to worry about letting the air in. But this is just a little too big to go in my cup holder. So I actually seat belted into my passenger seat. But then I also have, on the passenger seat, I have this kind of box thing. And in there I've got tissues, I've got lip balm, my water bottle fits into it. I have some essential oils in there for when I'm driving. Like I'll have some of the roll-ons. So I have any of the roll-ons here I take with me. And depending on what I'm doing, I will have different oils in there as well. Just to have a whiff while you're driving helps keep you awake. So snacks and drinks are always good because it helps keep the energy up. I don't put sugar stuff in there. Anything that's loaded with sugar or loaded with refined carbohydrates. So no sandwiches are in there, no breads, no refined sugars, because it just drains the energy. I keep a small first aid kit in there as well. You never know. You never know. My phone becomes my I listen to podcasts, audiobooks, or music. Usually I listen to music because I find that when I'm when I'm driving, I tend to sing. And so it's always fun. And I have the classics on there, like from the 80s, where I can listen to everything that's going on in the listen to my 80s tunes. I love listening to my 80s tunes. I will sing along with them. Sometimes I just don't want to listen to the 80s tunes. So when I get to the next rest area, I will switch it out for an audiobook. And when I'm driving in the car, this is how my brain works. When I'm driving in the car, I cannot listen to a non-fiction book unless it is a biography. If it's a biography or memoir, not a problem. If it is a business-related book, like how to, that gives you instructions on how to do something, those are a little hard to listen to because 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to take a note. I need to write that down. What can I write it down with? I can't write it down because I'm driving. So we listen to biographies and memoirs, or we listen to fiction. And sometimes listening to the fiction with the action in helps the drive go because you're kind of like, oh, what's happening? What's happening? And you're trying to think ahead. Oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. But you're still driving and keeping an eye on everything. So listening to audiobooks, sometimes I'll listen to podcasts too. Like if there's a podcast I'm interested in listening to where they have really good just banter chat backwards and forwards where you don't need to take notes, then I'll listen to some of those as well. And usually I find that stuff before I go. Of course, chargers for any electronic devices you are taking with you. Make sure you have all the correct chargers as well. Because as we know, everybody has their own versions of charge leads. Like my iPhones take one sort of charge, I've got iPhones, so they have the flat things. Then my iPad has a different charger to what, I mean, the old iPad used to work off the same one as the phones. Now they've got a new type of connection on there. So I have to make sure I take that charger with me. I have to make sure I've got my computer with me, along with my laptop with me, along with its charger, which is different. And then I have my Kindle, which has it's a USB charger. I think it's the mini C USB. It's the small USB charger. So I have to take that one with me as well. So I've got to make sure I have all the different, what electronics am I taking, and make sure I have a little pouch that I put all of the cables into, along with all the adapter plugs as well. And I don't have it here. I actually have a really cool little one that's about this square, and it has some USB ports on there, including the USB-C, I think it is, as well as having plug outlets on it, and I can plug that in. And I have a surge protector version of it, and I have a non-surge protection version of it. And you're going, why do you have a non-surge protector? Because on a cruise ship, you cannot take a surge protector on board with you. If they find it, they will confiscate it. But if you have I have a little power box, which gives me extra outlets and plugs in the USB ports and stuff. And that one has, that one is a non-surge protector, so I can use it on a cruise ship, because on cruise ships, surge protector ones can be a fire hazard. So take note of that for when we're talking about cruise essentials. In my car too, I also have an emergency kit with jumper cables. I have a flashlight. I've got basic tools. I have the air pumper thingy that for my tires, if I need to pump my tires up for anything. I always get all of that done beforehand too. So before I go on the road trip next week, the car will be going in and having an oil change done, because it's due to have the oil change done. So it's going to get that done. All the fluids will get checked. All of the tires will get checked as well at that time. So that's my pre-trip stuff. I also, and if I'm not traveling with Zeffy, which I won't be next week, I will also have my pillows with me, because I always, even if I did have Zeffy, I would still have my pillows with me. I like to travel with my pillows. If I'm taking on a road trip and I'm staying in hotels, I'm staying at with family and friends, I always take my pillows. I've got my head pillow and I have a body pillow with me. But the other thing is that I will throw some blankets in there, because sometimes when you're traveling, you might get a little tired. So you pull over to a rest area and you just think, I could just do with a nap. Now you can either roll back the front seat and sleep there, or you can jump in the back seat and have a snooze. But that way I have blankets with me if needed, and I have pillows so I can be a little comfortable. And I actually have, I don't have that pillow in here either. I've got a little pillow that's about this long. That's about this wide. And that's just a nice one for when you are, if you're taking a nap in the car, that you can put between yourself, and especially if you're sitting in the driver's seat, or even if you're in the passenger seat, you can put it here and lean against not while you're driving. On the passenger side, you can put it here and you lean against the doorpost. And it just helps you there with a little bit as well. I am such old school. If I'm traveling and I've got hotel reservations, tickets, confirmations, anything like that, I have printed copies of them with me. Yes, they may be here on my phone. There is a little app on my phone that is called, where's my app? It is called Tripcase, and I can upload all my reservations into that, so that, and that can even go over to the maps as well to get directions and everything else. But in there, I can put all my reservation stuff, but I always have a paper backup with me in case needed. And there have been times, even in this day with technology, where the paper backup has proven to be very, very useful. And of course, clothing, definitely got to take the clothing with you, depending on how long you're going and all of that. If you've got a place where you can do laundry, then you don't need to take as much, because you can just wash clothes while you're there. I know when I go down to New Zealand, my parents are like, we only have a small space in our boot or trunk. And so don't bring anything too big. And so I'm just like thinking, okay, what clothes am I going to take with me? What can I pare down? Because I know my mum will do a laundry like every day or every other day. So things will get washed very quickly. And so I don't need to take a lot of clothes with me because of that. Personal care items, travel size toiletries, your medications, your sunscreens, your supplements, You know, whatever you're going to need, depending on where you're going, make sure that you have that sort of stuff with you. And if you're traveling with a pet, make sure you have all of their essentials. Make sure you have food and water for them, their toys, definitely a leash. And even paw wipes. You can actually get dog wipes. They come in a pack like regular wipes do for baby wipes. And these are specifically designed for dogs. And especially when you've been to a rest area and stuff and you're walking them through the pet area and it's looking a little gross or something. When I get Zeffie back in the car, she is so funny. I get back in the car, I pull out the pack. She just lays down on her side and just sticks her feet up in the air. And the look on her face is like, if you have to. And that way I just clean her paws really quick. Like when we go to the dog park, we get her in the car and I wipe her paws off. And she just lays there on the side with the feet up in the air, like if you have to do it. So make sure you have that stuff. And also a mat if you're traveling with a dog. Like if I go to a restaurant where they allow you to take your dog out on the patio or something like that, I have a mat that I lay down on the floor next to the table, and that gives her something that comfortable that she is familiar with that she can lay on. And she's quite happy to do that. And I've used that a few times when I've gone out to restaurants where we've sat out on the patio, and she's been amazing. Once I started giving her the mat to lay on, she just calmed down immensely and wasn't too worried about getting up and going exploring. Like she'll explore around a little bit while you're getting set up and everything. But once that mat's there and you're sitting down and you're chattering away with whoever you're with, or reading if you're by yourself, she just lays down there on that mat and she is really, really good. So I'm very impressed with my puppy at times. But whatever you need for your animal, for your pets that you're taking with you, make sure that you have them. Now, some people have crates that they will put in the back for their dogs to sleep in while they're traveling in the crates. I actually have a seat hammock, and it's got straps that go underneath the headrests on the back of the back seat. And then that comes down across the seat, and then it comes up the back of the front seats, and it's got straps that go around the headrests on the front seats. And in between the two front seats, it actually has a mesh portion, so Zeffie can still see through. And I have a bed back. I have a small. I actually got a free bed. How do we get that bed? We got a free bed for her anyway, and it's like about this thick. And I just have that on the back in her area there. I also have. You can get these silicone non-spill traveling bowls, and so she has a bowl of water back there. And I don't have anyone. I'll have to get it out to show you guys. But when you look at it on the side, it actually has a slope to it. And instead of just having a rim, it actually has an overhang over the edge of the bowl so that water in there it conforms to the seat because it's tilted. And of course, seat's tilted. So it's like having a flat bowl of water there. And it has a thick rim about this that goes around the top. So there's a hole in the middle up the top there that she can get her nose in, and it stops the water splashing over. And I have had that thing going over bumpy roads, never spilled a drop. And I actually have a big, what size is it? I think it's a gallon thing of water that I fill up. I throw some ice cubes in there so it keeps it cool throughout the day for her, and traveled with her with that. I'll tell you, traveling in the RV, you don't have to worry about any of this because you already have it there, especially if you're living / traveling in the RV. You have everything at hand. And when you pull into a rest area, you don't have to go into the restrooms. You just, you got your own facilities that you can use, but you do have the pet areas there that you can go for walks. And when it comes to doing foods and snacks, your refrigerator and your cupboards are already full, and you can take your time, you can make your lunch. So going from traveling in an RV to traveling in a car, very, very different. And the other thing that I carry with me too is, do I have one? No, I don't have one here. I actually have a spray bottle. It's an essential oil spray bottle. It's an On Guard spray bottle for hand sanitizer. That's the other thing that you need to keep with you as well, is hand sanitizer. And make sure you're traveling in comfortable clothing. I usually travel in like yoga pants and a t-shirt. My yoga pants don't have a pocket, but I do have a running buddy, and I don't have my running buddy in here with me. And my running buddy is a pouch that has a flap, and the running buddy is about this long, about this high, and it has this flap on the back, and the flap's the whole size of the actual pouch. And you open that flap, and it's held together with magnets, and you tuck it inside your waistband, and it doesn't matter what shape you are, it will fit. which is wonderful because some of these are sort of like really weird. And I have a little card holder, which is RFID protected, and it has my driver's license in there along with whichever credit cards I'm taking with me. And that sits in the pouch, and then it fits my phone as well. And so when I have to go to the restroom, I have that I can put that in. But then what do I do with my keys? Well, it's a very good question. So my keys are actually on a keychain, which has silicone beads all around it. And it's on a double or triple layer of elastic. And so I can just roll them up my arm and keep them there. And they stay there. So I can just put them on like a bracelet, and my keys are there. They're with me. I don't have to worry about pockets. Although I do have I have some yoga shorts, which are super, super comfortable, that do have pockets on them. And I haven't done a road trip with those before. So maybe I'll do that next week, depending on the weather. Depends on the weather. But, always make sure that you're comfortable in the car, that you don't have anything sticking into you. This is why I don't wear belts. I don't like wearing belts. They just feel like I'm being cut in half. So I always wear elastic pants. And that's, for me, it's more comfortable. I like stretchy clothes. Other people are more happy traveling in a suit and tie. That's all, but they may take the tie off. They may take the suit jacket off, and they'll just travel in their business shirt and their business pants. And you've got women who wear the equivalent of skirts and heels and all of that. Yeah, not this girl. I get in that car, I want to be as, and I know different people have different, and those people are very comfortable wearing their suits and their skirts and everything else. This girl, not so much. I want my yoga pants. I want my t-shirts, and I'm happy. And if I have, actually, I got to wear these ones because these are like 3/4 length, and they've got pockets. And I can still use my running buddy. So there's some things. Those are essentials that I take, that I always ensure that I take with me, and then I really don't need anything else. So I make sure I have my music queued up, ready to go. I make sure I have, when I get into the car, I make sure I'm comfortable, I'm sitting right, is the mirrors in the right direction, because sometimes they get knocked. Set up my mirrors, and the car's already been to the service station beforehand to get all its oil change done, get everything else cleared up, checked and everything. So it's ready to go on the road. Yeah, that's basically it. So what are some essentials that you, and of course, if you've got kids, you've got to take the stuff to keep them entertained and their snacks and all of that sort of stuff as well. So what are some essentials that you take on road trips with you? Let us know in the comments below, because I'm sure some people have some ideas and other people go, I never thought of that. That's a really good idea. So I think I got everything on my list. Yep, everything on my list. So that's some of the road essentials that I take when I go on a road trip. And it's just that preparedness for a road trip. And it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, we're going on a road trip. No, it's like, yes, we're going on a road trip. Yay. When I go on this road trip, I'm heading to San Diego for a few days to spend some days with the grandsons. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's the excitement. At the end of the trip, I get to see my grandsons. I get to see my son and his wife, and get to spend some time with them, and get to babysit the 3 boys for a few days while mum and dad take off, and then mum and dad come home again, and then my excitement at the other end of this road trip, it's like, yes, I'm heading home. But I also get to see Zeffie, because I can't take Zeffie with me because the kids have allergies with dogs. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's one of those things. So Zeffie's going to get to spend her road trip with her dog sitters that she absolutely loves and adores. And so my reward when I get to the other end is that, I can get home and I can go and pick up Zeffie. Well, actually picking up Zeffie the next morning. But, it's the fact that I'm coming home and I'll get Zeffie the next day. And, that's my reward of that. So what is, sometimes you got to look at the things, oh my God, we're going to go home. I'm going to go to work. No, I'm going home, relaxing for a bit. The next morning I get to pick up Zeffie. Then I have to worry about work later that afternoon, but that's okay. So anyway, what are some road trip essentials that you take with you? The other one I have on my phone, which is like in the RV, this was spectacular. There is an app called Next Exit. And Next Exit, you put in there what interstate, and it only works on interstate roads that go between, that are interstate roads. So you can put on there, like, I'm traveling on the I-10, I'm traveling west. This is the exit number I come off at. And you can actually go through it beforehand and say, okay, where are my rest areas? Where are my gas stations? So that you've got some idea. And what I would do in the RV is the night before the trip is I would sit down and go, okay, I'm going from point A to point B. These are the interstates that I'm taking. And I go into next exit, and I actually had the book version, and you can go in there into I-10. Okay, we're getting on at this exit here, and I'm getting off at this exit here. What's in between? And so I was looking for, where are the Walmarts? Where are the gas stations? Where are the rest areas? And I actually had it listed. I'm heading west on the 10. So, these are the ones that are on my side of the road. And I would actually make a list down on a piece of paper, and I would tape that piece of paper, next to the steering wheel, there's this flat portion there. I would tape it to that. It would just actually sit there. I wouldn't tape it. And it would sit there. And that way, if I'm sort of like, oh, we need a rest area, or, oh, we need to do groceries before we get on the road, where's the nearest Walmart? Because usually that was a really good place for us to go grocery shopping, because they have the nice big parking areas, and we would park at the back of the parking area. And I would always have it parked so Zeffie could see the front doors. And because she would always lay on the dashboard and look out for me. And she had food and water in there the whole time. And so then I would go in, do a quick shop, come back out and get everything loaded. And then we were good to hit the road. We had, everything was restocked. This is when I was traveling without a car. This was the thing that we would do. We would do it in the first thing in the morning as soon as we left the campground, go to the Walmart. One, because they're open early. Two, because it was just straight in and out. We didn't have to go flying around. We just figured out which door you go in. We could park at the back of the parking lot. We weren't taking up that much space with everything that was there. And because if you have the parking spaces where you just have the line between and not the islands, we would actually take up 4. We'd take up 2 on each side. And that gave us room on either side to be able to open up the lockers underneath and the door if we needed to. So we would, go get our groceries before we got on the road. But then I would also have it there for other reasons too. Like if I needed a break, they had the big parking spaces. I could go to the back of the parking lot at Walmart, and I could go take a nap. We just park there for a bit. We'd go for a nap, get back on the road again. Like if there wasn't a rest area nearby, if I said, I really need a nap, I could quickly look at my list and go, okay, I've got like 20 miles to go to the next rest area. Can we make that? Oh, there's a Walmart in between there and then. So let's go to the Walmart and we'll have a rest there and have a break. And so we've done that as well. That's the other reason we put Walmarts on the list. And so that's what we would do. And that next exit thing was brilliant because you could see what was at every exit. Like it would say exit 149. At this exit, you've got this gas station, this one, this one, this one, this one. You've also got the da-da-da-da, and all list them out. And the other ones that we would look for would be the Flying J's and the Pilots, because I had a discount card to use on the gas there. And they also had the big areas because they had all the truckers there. So they had all the truck parking area as well, where the truckers could park their trucks and take breaks. RV, go park in the truckers area, in that area over there. And a lot of them would have big areas where you could just go and park. So we'd fill up with gas and would then go park, or we just were filling up gas and going. So we'd make sure all of those were on there as well. And even places like Love's, where they have the big parking areas out back as well. So we're always looking for the gas stations and the Walmarts that had the big parking areas, the ones that we knew that we could fill up at if we needed to. And that next exit thing. And then it would say, at this exit, we've got these gas stations, you've got these shopping centers, you've got these stores, these restaurants, these hotels, these attractions. It would have everything listed that you could access at that parking area, which was great because there was one day that I needed to get Zeffie's nails clipped. And I thought, well, we need a PetSmart, the grooming thing. And so I went on the next exit. Oh, there's one at this exit here. So we went to there. It was in a big shopping center. Walked her in. They were able to take her straight away. And she got her nails clipped. And it was the first time she'd had it done. And she cried the entire time. She was trying to crawl over the woman's shoulders. The woman sat there just doing her back feet. And Zeffie's trying to climb up her and over her shoulder to get away from her. And I felt so sorry for Zeffie. That was not long after I had gotten her. But yeah, so, you can find these things in this next exit book. And then, of course, it would have at what mile markers the rest areas were as well. So my little list would be here. I could look at it really quick, and I wrote it in big letters so I could see easily without having to go, what the hell did I write there? Oops, we're slipping off the road. No, it was just quick glance down and look, and able to do that. And as when we got to the next, when we got to the rest area, I would then fold the piece of paper. So all I was seeing was what we have left next to come. So, but yeah, that was one of the essentials that we had. I have the app on my phone and use that as well, and have my little piece of paper that I have to put on the seat next to me because there's really nowhere to tape it on the front of a car. So I've sort of got like, put it up, have a glance, put it back down again. Yes, that sort of thing. So anyway, but that's road trip essentials 101, I guess. For today. Let us know what essentials you have that you put in your car when you're going on a road trip. What are some essentials you have to take with you? And we will see you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konera.